Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 866-496-8772. That's the number to join us on the program this morning. And folks, literally, I have so many tabs open to talk about this morning. There is not a snowball's chance in a 90-degree Nebraska day that I'm going to get to everything during the show today. So we're going to have a lengthy aftershock probably after the show as well. If you're not familiar with the aftershock, right now, for example, you can go to facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, and you can actually watch the show live on Facebook. You can comment during the commercial breaks. I try to answer any questions that people post. It's kind of neat, you know. But then after the show is over, you can come back to facebook.com. It's a separate live video because we have to truncate it for technical reasons. But it's a separate live video, and it's called the Aftershock. And during the Aftershock, what we can do is we can talk about things that we didn't have time to fit into the program, or just stuff that's funny or interesting but doesn't fit in the normal course of conversation. All right, so 866-496-8772. First off, service center update. We are in the doldrums of tech summer right now. You've heard of crypto winter? Well, this is tech summer. So what happens during tech summer is everybody leaves. It's like the rapture. People go on vacations. They just stop breaking their stuff. And so the guys in the service centers literally don't have a lot to do. So if you have a prepaid maintenance checkup certificate that you purchased during the last sale and you were looking for a time to drop off that computer with really quick turnaround time, this is the time to do that. We're doing a lot of housekeeping tasks, like our corporate service clients, for example. We're making sure that they get all of their maintenance checkups done. There was this last Tuesday was Patch Tuesday, so if you haven't restarted your computer yet, you want to do so. And if by some miracle of nature you're still running a Windows XP computer, there's something you want to do with that too. There was actually a patch released this last Tuesday for XP, as well as Windows Vista. There was a huge vulnerability, so we're going to talk about that on the program here. But in the service centers, you can stop into any of the three shops. They're open on Saturday from 10 until 8, Sunday from noon to 5. But you can stop in Lincoln, the corner of 27th and Pine Lake Road. If you're curious about the development progress of our new Lincoln location off of 14th and Pine Lake, you can check that out on Facebook here. There's some pictures of that. They got the drywall up. The data cabling is all in. It's starting to look like a service center now. So we're going to probably be moving that Lincoln Service Center sometime in the next month or so, but we'll keep you posted on that. But right now, we're at 27th and Pine Lake Road, and you'll have your computer back way before we move. So that's good. In Omaha, 168th and Burke, just across the street from the Village Point Mall, and in Papillion, 84th and Highway 370 in Midlands Place, a great little business park there, great little urgent care, breakfast restaurant in there, pizza restaurant in there. Ollie and Hobbs is a great restaurant. There's a doctor's office in there, and there's some new mystery tenant moving in right next door to us. We're getting a neighbor, but we have no idea who the neighbor is. It's like, back when you were a little kid and a new family was moving in and you were just like, I hope they have a kid, It's kind of like that. Like, what are we going to get? It's either going to be like a podiatrist or a dentist or something, or it's going to be something that's super cool. I don't know. So anyway, well, we're going to find out here shortly, soon enough, I'm sure. All right, 866-496-8772. Good morning, Bill, Janice, and Don on Facebook. Good to have you with us. So just to give you the quick hit headlines for the program today, because it'll be faster for me to do it this way. I'm going to read you my tabs, okay? And then if you hear something that you like, pop a comment on Facebook, and I'll make sure that gets into the show. And if you don't hear from you, I'll just pick the ones that I think are interesting. This one just blew my mind. SanDisk is now making a 1 terabyte micro SD card. That's the tiny little SD card that goes in your phone. A terabyte. That's just an insane amount of storage in a tiny little card. Trump signs an executive order banning U.S. telecoms from buying or using foreign gear. Read a Huawei ban. Let's see. 6 ways the new Mac Pro could go terribly, terribly wrong. They didn't even license it from us. Apple is promising a new modular Mac Pro. For reals. That's our thing. And now Apple wants to do it? We're going to have to get a hold of legal. We got to stop this. All right. Sprint is going to release a 5G hub that you can put in your home. So we'll tell you about that. If you get 5G phones, then you can have your own 5G hub. You can have one of those antennas in your house, actually. Let's see here. Google is rolling up the Works with Nest program. They're shutting it down, and there is an uproar about it. We'll tell you what's going on there. If you have Nest devices in your house, you'll want to hear this. Have you seen a lot of ads on your cell phone lately? Fraudulent ads are up 159% this year on your smartphone, which is one of the reasons why we're launching Endpoint for iPhone and Android next month for our clients. We're going to tell you what's going on there. A lot of people don't realize this. So there's been all this talk about Huawei and the threats of spying in technology, and why you shouldn't use the Huawei gear in your telecom networks and stuff. But people don't realize that there are entire brands of laptops that are completely made in China, just like Huawei. That brand is Lenovo. Used to be made by IBM, an American company, but they sold their PC division off to a Chinese company who bought it. So if you buy a Lenovo, you may as well be buying a Huawei MateBook. That's what they call their laptops. You can actually get those on Newegg now, the MateBook. So we're going to talk to you about Lenovo's ambitious plans beyond the PC to basically take over the computing world. So that's fun there. If you're an Apple user, we have something in the barrel for you today. If you are an Apple user, you're probably going to end up getting iOS 13 when it comes out. And when iOS 13 comes out, you're going to notice that a lot of your older iPhones and iPads will no longer function with your MacBooks. So we're going to tell you what to watch out for there. If you have an old one that the kids are still using or something like that, you're going to want to make sure that you replace that, basically, which is probably the reason why that they're ending support for it. A huge update for Adobe Flash, Acrobat, and Reader this week. If you have Secure Updater, you already have this update. If you don't have Secure Updater or you don't know what Secure Updater is, you want to stay tuned for that one. All right, Microsoft patched Windows XP Server 2003 because of a big nasty worm. Think like WannaCry, a really bad one that came out last year. I got a weird email this week from a customer who was upset with Asus trying to sign him up for cloud storage, which if you get one of our laptops, they're Asus laptops, they have cloud storage for free that comes with it. We remove a lot of the bloatware, but the cloud storage could actually be useful. So sometimes we leave that on there for customers to make the decision for themselves. Well, story right here. This is exactly what this guy was worried about. Asus Web Storage abused to spy on users at the router level. So yeah, that's pretty serious stuff. We're going to tell you about that on the program today. And then if you are a WhatsApp user, an Israeli firm installed some spyware on your phone. Happy day. Do you sure you don't need some semantic endpoint for Android or iOS to make sure your phone doesn't get spyware installed on it? Because once you get it installed, there is nothing else on the market to get it removed from your phone. But the most alarming thing about this is, if you use WhatsApp, you're familiar with what it is. One of the things it does is it allows encrypted end-to-end conversations. So nobody can listen in. It's supposed to be completely private. Well, if you installed WhatsApp on your phone, there was a bug, and they figured out a way to use that bug to install malware on the phone. So 1.5, I don't want to get this wrong. It's not million. I believe it's billion devices. No, it could be a million because you have to be running WhatsApp too. But a whole boatload of devices have this malware installed on them now. So like I said, we have a full boat of things to go through. Also, your calls, 866-496-8772. That's the number to join us on the program today. And as we do every week, one lucky caller who calls in, asks a question, makes a comment, is going to get put in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate that Nikki will get you from the Lincoln Service Center on Monday. She'll get that out to you. All right, so oh golly, what else do we got going on here? Data Recovery Lab was pretty quiet this week. It was really busy the week before. It was a little quiet this week. We had a really interesting thing happen. If you do a Google search right now, Google search for computer repair or Google search for data recovery. We were spending thousands of dollars a week on Google ads to make sure that customers saw Schrock Innovations when they were looking for, data recovery is like a plumber. It's good to have top of mind awareness. I get on every week and I tell you guys we do data recovery so that if you ever have a situation where your hard drive fails, you have someone top of mind that you can think of to come do your data recovery. Schrock Innovations. That'll be great. The problem here is you don't need data recovery every day. So it's kind of like plumber or electrician. When you need one, you're going to go look for one. And, it used to be you grab the yellow pages and look in the yellow pages for a plumber or an electrician. Well, now people just grab their phone or their computer and they go on Google and they search. And then Google brings up all the business results for plumbers and electricians, specifically ones that are located very close to you, or computer repair guys or data recovery labs. And so we, as a result, if somebody, for example, in Council Bluffs would search for data recovery, and there was some, there's a lot of shops in town that say they offer data recovery service. But what they do is you bring the drive in, they put it in a box and send it off to like File Savers. And File Savers is distant, basically. So you have a local drop site in the local company, but they're not actually doing the work on your drive. So basically, you have those kind of things. So you might take it to that place thinking that they're doing the work here in town when they're actually not. And because you're in Council Bluffs, you're far enough away from our Papillion Service Center that we're not the top result in the call it the map pack. So we buy ads, and those ads would show up on the screen. Do a Google search right now, and you will see there are no ads for any computer repair companies. There are no ads for any data recovery companies. Nothing. Well, we just got word from Google that apparently our ads are a violation of Google's terms of use for AdWords. And it's not just us. Every computer repair shop in town got this too. Every data recovery house from us all the way up to Drive Savers got this. You can't advertise your services on Google anymore. And it's because of all those third-party tech support sites. So, for example, you ever get the phone call, oh, your IP address is infected. You have to pay us $400 and we can remove the infection and give you lifetime protection. And some people do it, and it's a scam. And some people, every week we get calls from people. I got a call from Microsoft, or I got a call from Google. Or, how do they know my IP address? How did they know I was infected? It's all a scam. It's a confidence game. It's a scam. Don't fall for it. Don't give them any money. Don't let them remote into your computer. Because when you let them remote in and then you don't give them money, they get very angry and they tend to delete things or lock things or give you reasons to come into the actual real computer repair shop. So these guys are bad news. And what they were doing is they were buying advertisements on Google, and people were getting taken to their websites, and then their websites were infecting the computer with malware and telling them about all the infections it had and how they had to call the 800 number to fix it. So Google said, well, we can't have that. So we're going to ban all these third-party tech support companies. Third-party meaning if you're Microsoft, you can advertise Microsoft products or support for Microsoft products. If you're Dell, you can advertise products that are Dell products or support for Dell products. If you're Schrock Innovations, we could advertise our modular storage devices or our modular computers and the support we provide for those computers. However, we cannot advertise support for a third party we did not make. Get the difference? So as a result, they just banned all third party. Now, they said they made this decision in 2018, and they were just allowing everyone time basically to adjust their marketing. And at first, we were really upset about this from a couple different angles. So when you think this through, Google has just banned all advertising by small businesses. So small businesses that have a marketing engine in place, that have marketing for their business, like we do Compute This every week. We do the Aftershock. We have numerous posts to our Facebook page throughout the week, some of which are more entertaining than others. Some of them are kind of bland. It's because they're all like, there's a bug out. It's like if your accountant says, oh, you got to get your 1024 in. There's not really a 1024, but you wouldn't know that, right? So you're not an accountant. So, it's kind of like that. Then there's other ones that are like, holy cow, look at this stuff. And then they're kind of entertaining. So, we have a marketing engine. We have a lot of great word of mouth from our great customers. We've been around for 20 years, so we tend to come up top of mind more so than a newer competitor that just launched. So from that perspective, it actually helps Schrock because it makes it harder for smaller competitors who are super duper hungry for business. They may not have the technical skills and the technical capabilities that we have at Schrock, but they're willing to work at a much lower price because they just don't have the experience. Those competitors were able to compete with larger companies because you could buy ads and you could be on the same platform and you could control how those ads display. We had competitors that were actually buying our name. So when people searched for Schrock Innovations or Aftershock, it would bring up an ad for another computer repair company. Because they were trying everything to compete, and I get that. I totally understand. It's a free market. I love it, baby. Let's all compete with each other because there are larger companies out there than us that do data recovery, and I like to compete with them. There's always a bigger fish in the room, right? Everyone's chasing the bigger fish. So I like to compete. Let them compete. Let's all compete and let's all win based on the products and services that we have and our ability to deliver them, because I feel like we have a pretty strong hand there. We can't win every single situation, but we'll win a lot of them. And now, so at first I was upset because I was like, oh, we can't compete. We're not going to be able to advertise. So literally it's like all of a sudden the entire search engine optimization game for any technical service company has been rolled back to 2004. Now it's all about how can I rank number one in organic Google searches? Because you can't buy the ads anymore. You can't buy your way to the top. You can still do that on Bing, however. And we still advertise on Bing, and that works great, and Yahoo and everywhere else, but just not on Google. So if you notice the number of ads has been reduced lately, it's because Google is enforcing anything that has to do with technical support, whether it includes on-site technical support, in-shop technical support, or over the phone or the web. So literally they have, I'm talking to the Google ad person, I'm like, this blows my mind. So what you're telling me is you've taken an entire industry of legitimate businesses. Now, okay, I know there are scammers out there. I get that. We are actually the people that fight the scammers. And you're reducing our ability to communicate with customers so we can fight the scammers? What the heck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? I mean, we're where people, after people get scammed and their computers get locked or their data is encrypted or whatever, we're the people that fix it, that make it better for the people that got hurt. And they're going to have a tough time finding us if they can't Google for us. I'm sorry, sir. I mean, I was some lady in India. She had no, it's our policy. That's what the policy says. So, you can't do anything. It's Google. It's a bureaucracy. So if you do that, if you do the Google searching, notice that it's a whole new ballgame there. So you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff happen in the next few weeks. There's going to be, content is king in organic search. So literally we had a hard drive in the data recovery lab this week that was a Stiction drive. And you'll see the video. I won't go into a bunch of details, but what it means is it beeps when you turn it on. It goes like boop, 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 boop. And that sound that it makes is the motor trying to turn those platters that spin, but it can't because the heads, think about it like a record player. If there was a needle on your record and the needle was stuck in the record and the record player was trying to turn the record, but it couldn't turn the record because the needle was stuck. That's what Stiction is, or Stuction, depending on how you want to call it. So we fixed it in the data recovery lab, and we shot video of me fixing it. And, so it's all B-roll video because I wasn't narrating while I was fixing. I was like talking to the guys in the room, like, oh, this is can you get around my finger? Can you see it? Okay, you're getting a good shot there, that kind of stuff. But, and I had the gloves on. I didn't have, Kim was like, when people see like the data recovery websites, the lovely Kimberly, she's like, she's in charge of making all things pretty. So when she sees the data recovery websites online, she sees guys in like full body hazmat suits and, they're like in little, vacuum rooms and stuff. That's not where data recovery happens in real life, guys. It's just not. Maybe at the national labs of the NSA, that's how it works. But that is not how it works in 99.999% of data recovery labs. Of course, you need a clean environment. You need a clean room. But so like in the picture, for example, I had my gloves on, so I wasn't getting any oils or hairs from my fingers or anything into the drive. No skin flecks were falling off, whatever. You can't contaminate the drive. But when I was working with it, I didn't have the full body. And we have these, they look like a painter's suit, basically. And we have them in the lab, but we've never really needed to use them. And so in the shot, you can see the cuff of my sleeve. From my dress shirt. And so the lovely Kimber was like, you can't show that video. People are going to think you're just a chump data recovery business. And of course I bring up all the videos of every other person. Like here's this guy in his garage doing data recovery. Like literally there's like axle grease beside him on the table, it's like, but I don't know, she's right. She might be right, but we need content for our website. Because content is what makes people come back. So if you are in a technical business, and hopefully not computer repair, we probably wouldn't be too eager to help you compete with us. But if you have a website and you're in a technical business, and this is the kind of things that you need to know for your business, don't hesitate to give us a call. Schrock Interactive does all that kind of work for you and your computers as well. 866-496-8772. We're a little bit long here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Greg, you're the first caller up on the program. And Ray and Jenny, I'll get to your questions here on Facebook during the break on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop. the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute this pro tip 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing. Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are two products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Interesting food for thought this morning. Where are the Chinese antivirus companies? They steal everything else and they make it. I heard the great quote there. China is like the whole trade war thing is summed up as China is a taker, a maker, and a faker. So they're stealing the intellectual property of other companies and then replicating it. There's a reason why Chinese search engines look a lot like Google. Google tried to go to China, and then China's like, no, we get to read everybody's Gmail. And Google's like, no, you don't. And they're like, if you want to do business in China, we get to read everyone's Gmail. And in the meantime, all their Google engineers had been, paired up with Chinese engineers when they were getting all the infrastructure put in. And so then when Google pulled out, those engineers were still there in China. That's how intellectual property gets stolen. And they were able to incorporate a lot of Google's, algorithmic secret sauce into Chinese search engines to make a Chinese version of Google, basically. So that's how this all happened. So it just occurred to me, why are there there's a Russian antivirus company. They make a lot of malware in Russia. Why is there not they obviously have the ability to make the malware and steal the stuff. They've got skilled cyber crook guys. Why doesn't one of the skilled cyber crook guys say, well, we should get in on the other side of the coin and start protecting people? Because if we're running the protection, it's like a protection racket. If we're running the protection and we're making the threats, we're not losing access to anything, and, people will feel protected. All right, good Chinese product. 866-496-8772. Things that make you go, Greg, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hey, you mentioned briefly at the beginning of your show about the Windows XP. I bought 2 of the certificates for the tune-up on the computer, whatever. And I was going to call before you even mentioned it about tuning up the XP. I don't use it. It's not ever on the internet. Mm-hmm. I just use it for printing labels and signs and stuff like that.
Sure.
Is it worth it to use that for that?
Here's the thing. When it comes down to computers, we always ask the question of our customers, is the computer doing what you need it to do? And you've already answered a lot of the critical questions. That computer has no business being on the internet. It really has no business being on your wireless network, to be honest, just because it's an entry point where stuff can get into the wireless network. If it has an internet connection, a lot of people think, well, I don't get on the internet with it. But if it has an internet connection, it's vulnerable. So in other words, if it's connected to the internet, even if you don't ever open a web browser, it's vulnerable. But with that said, if you're just using it to print labels and it's basically an air-gapped island, then there's no reason to stop using it for what it works for. I mean, it's a piece of equipment. So the challenge here is should we maintain it at this point? And there's a fine line between how much money you should put into it. And, you know, a lot of the stuff that you probably have hooked up to it wouldn't run on a modern computer. A lot of the software wouldn't work right. So there is some value into making sure that XP machine continues to operate. Things like making sure that the fans are turning properly, that the hard drive isn't failing. Those IDE hard drives that were in the Windows XP machines are getting hard to find. And from that perspective, yes, I would have, if it's doing something that you deem valuable, I would have it maintenance, because just like any other computer, we want to make sure if there's a problem, we catch it early so that we can get it fixed and cleaned up, so that when you take it back home, it can continue to do the things you want it to do.
Perfect.
Yeah, so bring that sucker in. We're happy to take a look at it for you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Greg. I appreciate your call today. 866-496-8772. See, it's that easy, guys. Greg's got himself in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. And yeah, we have one person in there, so his odds are pretty good right now. If you would like to reduce Greg's odds, 866-496-8772. All right, coming up on the show here, you may have heard in the news this week that President Trump signed an executive order that banned U.S. telecom companies from buying or using foreign-made gear in their networks. We're going to break this down for you a little bit and find out, the executive order doesn't mention Huawei, but for all intents and purposes, this is a Huawei ban against their 5G technology. So we're going to tell you about that. Also, 6 ways the new Mac Pro could be terribly, terribly wrong. Apple promised a new modular Mac Pro. There's a good chance we'll get a look at what Apple had in mind here coming up at the next conference, but with Apple's recent track record, there might be some worries. So we're going to talk about what's going on there. It's been a long time. Think about those big Mac, the professional Macs that were the silver towers with the handles on top and the bottom. That was the last time that Apple, when they say a modular computer, they mean a computer that has standardized parts where things can be replaced. You know, kind of like what we build at Schrock, instead of, making little circle trash cans, which is what the current Mac Pro is. And it works. They're great little computers. They haven't been updated in, several years, but they're great little computers. So we'll talk about that on the show for you Apple users out there. Also, if you're excited about the 5G phones that are starting to hit the market, but you're a little concerned that there won't be any 5G signals to connect to, Sprint has a solution for your home or office. We're going to tell you how you can become your own 5G hotspot for your home or office so that all of your cell phones can connect and get amazing 5G speeds coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs. And all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases, even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. In Detroit last night, police spotted a suspicious vehicle speeding down an alley the wrong way. One cop was shot and wounded, 2 others injured, but they gave as good as they got.
Suspect was shot. He's in critical condition. He fired on our officers, and because they were faced with an imminent threat to their life, they fired, and he was struck.
Police Chief James Craig, all 3 police officers are in stable condition. A large crowd's expected in Birmingham, Alabama today, protesting that state's restrictive new abortion law. One Democratic presidential hopeful will be front and center.
A Bernie Sanders rally scheduled for today in a Birmingham park is expected to focus on Alabama's new law criminalizing doctors who perform abortions. Alabama is just one state recently passing bills that could eventually force the U.S. Supreme Court to review with the chance of overturning Roe v. Wade.
Fox's Evan Brown. This is Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
A few isolated sprinkles this morning, otherwise cloudy skies and chilly conditions for most of your Sunday. Temperatures starting off in the low 50s and will only warm to around 57 degrees this afternoon with gusty northwest winds. Overnight temperatures falling to around 40 degrees. A little bit of sunshine on Monday with a high of 61. Rain returns by evening. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock, and I am the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we have 3 locations to help you out with your computers when they're broken, when they're not working, when your hard drives not giving you the results you expect. You need that data recovered. Camera cards, things like that, we can recover those as well, flash drives. Also, Schrock Interactive handles all of our software development side, everything from a basic business website, which it blows my mind. I drive by businesses, literally, like, I'm a business owner. And so I'm always thinking about marketing and sales and, things. And I drive by a beautiful vehicle. I'm at a stoplight or something. And there's a beautiful wrap next to me on a vehicle. And I have a website on the wrap. And I'll go pop it up on my phone. And their website looks like trash because there's not consistency in the marketing across everything. One of the things that blows my mind is people that own businesses think that websites are so expensive that you just put them off. At Schrock, we develop business websites for like $1,500. And this is not like, oh, yes, we'll give you 3 pages in a contact form for $1,500. No, this is like, we'll build you a beautiful website with moving video in the background, like a modern website that's responsive, that meets all the things. We'll give you the option for a secure socket layer, everything that you need in a website that you don't know that you need, and we'll charge you $1,500 to develop it all. It's pretty spectacular. Then if that's not good enough, hey, we're in an unprecedented time of small business growth right now. So if you're ready to upgrade your website, guess what? We'll finance it for you with no interest and no fees over a 3-year period. So now you take that $1,500 and you divide it by 36. And all of a sudden, a new website isn't something that you maybe sort of should do in the future. You're kicking yourself because you're like, we've been suffering with this website for how long? Our competitors all have better websites than us, and we could have something beautiful and shiny and new and fancy, and that tells the story of what we do as a company, and we just haven't done it because we thought it was too expensive. Still, you can go to some content houses here in Omaha, and they'll charge you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for a website. So $1,500 is pretty darn inexpensive. The reason that it's so inexpensive at Schrock is we turn the model on its head. The model for website development is charge a boatload of money for the website, and then on the backside, if the customer needs anything else, this is the spec that we did, that you asked us to do, and if you ask for anything else, we're going to charge you more. And then, so the emphasis is on the short-term gain of the relationship. Whereas at Schrock, we put our emphasis on the long-term relationship. So we're going to charge you less up front for the website on the hopes that we get to retain your business for years and years and years. You need a home on the internet to put that website up. You're going to need someone to provide you with secure socket layer certificates. You're going to need someone to make periodic changes to the website, to do security updates to make sure that you don't get hacked. These are all things that we provide on an ongoing basis. So we would prefer to have a relationship with you that's beneficial for both customer and us over a 10, 15-year period, rather than focusing on that one big hit that meets payroll this week, and that's what makes Schrock different. So if you're a business and you're looking for a website, don't hesitate to give us a call over at Schrock Interactive. You can call any of the 3 service centers and they can get you in touch with myself or Alfonso or Mark, and we can get you set up with a new website for your business. 866-496-8772. Carolyn asked on Facebook during the commercial break, whatever happened to that Microsoft update? 1903, we all bought Safe Upgrades for that, and we've been waiting. Great question. Now, I mentioned that Microsoft had Patch Tuesday last week. So basically, Patch Tuesday, we didn't know, but I suspected that Microsoft would not launch 2 major patches in the same week. So you had Patch Tuesday, which is always the second Tuesday of every month. The second Tuesday of the month was the 14th, which was just this previous Tuesday. And so now I am expecting personally the 1903 update to come out in the next 10 days. So basically the next week plus, we're going to see a major Microsoft Windows update for your computer. This is going to impact all Windows 10 users. So if you have Windows 7, you're not impacted. If you have Windows XP, you're not impacted. If you have Windows Vista, you're not impacted. But if you are running Windows 8, you're not impacted. And I know it sounds repetitive, but if I leave one out, somebody will call in and ask me if that one's impacted. If you're running Apple, you're not impacted. This is just for Windows 10, okay? Windows 10 users will be forcibly installed upon. Yes, your computer will download this update automatically for you, even if you're over your data cap, even if you're on a limited data connection. It's going to download this huge 6 gigabyte update, and then it's going to install it on your computer. And when it installs it on your computer, it's going to basically, it's a whole operating system upgrade. So it's not really even an update, it's an upgrade. It's going to uproot your entire operating system and all of your files, put them off in this special storage area over here. Then it's going to lay down a whole new operating system, and it's going to try to move all your files back over again. So you can imagine anything goes wrong in that process. Power blink, ooh, your files are gone. Just because it's Thursday, ooh, your files are gone. Every single time one of these updates comes out, we have customers who lose their files, customers who upon reboot, their computer won't reboot, or customers have the update fail, but they get stuck in a loop. So it fails, so the computer restarts, so it tries to install it again, so it fails, and it just keeps downloading this update over and over and over and racking up data overage charges doing it. The easiest way to get this update installed on your computer is to use a product called Safe Upgrade that we provide at Schrock. We had so many customers coming in every 6 months, and it seemed to be the same customers every time that always had problems. It's understandably frustrating. You have to spend $200 to fix your computer every 6 months because you got an update that you didn't really want or need, because it was a new feature upgrade from Microsoft. I was fine with the features I had before. I didn't need new features, and a new feature of your new update is my computer won't boot. So that's a pretty bad feature, okay? For every feature, there's a benefit they teach you in sales school. So don't sell the feature, sell the benefit. So, hey, this is a free update that will break your computer. You want that? How many would you like, sir? Yeah, I mean, what do you mean, how many would you like? You will take at least one on every device once every 6 months. Take your medicine, son. It's good for you. So yeah, basically, the update is going to come out in the next week. When it does release, you are going to, if you've purchased a copy of Safe Upgrade, we still have a few copies left at SchrockInnovations.com. You can click on Shop and Specials. A few of them are left there. You can pick those up. Also, we have a few of our surge protectors left on special. We have another shipment coming in. If you've been waiting for yours, we've been literally selling them as fast as we're getting them in. We have another shipment of 27 units coming in on Monday. And so we're going to fill the remaining orders that are outstanding. We should have a few left over after that to take care of additional orders that might come in. Also, notice that the surge protectors are half off on the specials page. There's also a battery backup that is only $60 more to upgrade to. If you were in Papillion this last week, something like 17,000 people in Papillion were out power for 4 hours. No big storm or anything. It was just they were doing some kind of repair work and something went wrong. And so for 4 or 5 hours, people were out of power. That's 4 or 5 hours where you don't have internet access, 4 or 5 hours where your router's not working. And so as a result, if you get one of these battery backups and you put it on your modem and your router, just those two things, it keeps the wireless network up. And the reason that I do this in my house, I've got 3 kids. And in the middle of a tornado warning or something, when we're all down in the basement, the last thing I want to be dealing with, one of my daughter's special needs, the last thing I want to be dealing with is crying, screaming, upset children. We want to be able to hear the radio. We want to be able to know what's going on, and we want to make sure that all of our people are safe. And so keeping them distracted in that environment, especially if you have to wake them up in the middle of the night, kids don't get too upset if you wake them up in the middle of the night and then say, but you can play your iPad. Wow, it's the middle of the night. I can play my iPad. That's pretty cool, Mom. But they're entertained. But if your Wi-Fi is down, it's harder to do that. So I keep one on our Wi-Fi so that everything stays up in the event of a power outage. So if you want to do that, it's only $60 more to upgrade to the battery backup version of that. So it's a pretty sweet deal over at SchrockInnovations.com. You click on Shop and Specials. But as soon as Microsoft releases the update, the first thing we do is we download a copy for ourselves and we install it in all of our shop computers to make sure that we're going to get a sample of 12 or 15 computers and it's going to be good. The next thing is we have some customers who have dropped their computers off for the upgrade. If you're heading out for vacation, feel free to drop your computer off and we can do the upgrade in shop for you. And so customers who have dropped off their computers will get the upgrade next. Everything looks good. All right, now, and while we're doing this, we're uploading the update over to the Schrock Interactive web servers. And then once we are confident that everything is okay, we'll flip the switch and turn it on. And at that point, you're going to get an email to tell you it's time to go if you purchased. You're going to get a robocall if you purchased telling you it's time to go. You are going to get a Facebook boosted post telling you it's time to go. There's going to be a carrier pigeon with a small piece of paper around its ankle. No, there won't be a carrier pigeon. But you get the idea. We're going to let you know it's time to go. And we're going to let you know in every conceivable way we can, aside from carrier pigeon, that it's time to go. The Morse code from the Schrock rooftop, the bat signal, it's time to go, run the update. And then you can go ahead and run the update. And of course, if you have trouble with it, we call it safe upgrade, not sure upgrade. If there's something that's going to go wrong, the update stops. So you can call, and it tells you, call a technician, something's not going to work right. And then we can get on the Schrock desk and go through the update with you and see what's going on. So it's a really great system to make sure that your computer gets updated the way it's supposed to get updated. It protects you from a $200 plus repair bill. It's just good all the way around. It's only $50. So you can check that out, SchrockInnovations.com, shop and specials. 866-496-8772. So this week, if you heard the news, President Trump signed an executive order that banned U.S. telecom companies, so phone companies and communication companies within the United States, from buying or using foreign-made gear in their networks. So there's a couple things going on here. Number one, they didn't mention Huawei in the Chinese company in the executive order because I think that would have been targeting them and made it illegal or something. I don't know. But basically what it says in the executive order is we can't buy telco equipment from foreign adversaries. So it's labeling China as a foreign adversary, number one. Number two, it also allows us to import gear from our allies, like the Eurozone. We can import gear from them if we want. We can import Canadian gear, Mexican gear, woo! But we can't import gear from foreign adversaries. Now, Huawei, the Chinese company, has almost half of the equipment in the entire 5G infrastructure already in the field. So there's a couple problems here. Number one of the things that we're dealing with the trade dispute is that the Chinese government will subsidize companies. They will provide funding or in the form of low or zero cost loans, favorable domestic, basically no competitors, a protected environment in which to grow in. In exchange for that, the Chinese government expects full access to everything. It's a communist country, guys. They can expect and demand anything they want. So when Huawei comes out with a pledge that we pledge that your data will be safe and no one will ever access it, Huawei can't promise that because they're based in a communist country. They just can't do it. And of course they're going to say that because their gear costs half as much as the Cisco gear that would do the same thing, or the Qualcomm gear that would do the same thing, because they're subsidized in China. China understands that if they can leverage their technology and take over a majority of the 5G market, they therefore can go through and get all this market share in advance, and then they can use it. So this is the same company, Huawei, that stole intellectual property from T-Mobile to help build their wireless network. They didn't have the tech to do this in the beginning, so they stole it from T-Mobile. This is the same company that's doing business with Iran. And now that's why the CEO, who's the granddaughter of Chairman Mao, no joke, was arrested in Canada on U.S. sanctions violations and deported to the United States for trial. I mean, so the trade negotiation in China, you have to understand the Chinese, I watched a TED talk yesterday about this. The Chinese mentality on this is completely different from Western mentality. The Chinese don't understand that the theft of intellectual property is a problem. Like, it's knowledge. What you can't control knowledge. You can't charge for knowledge. If we can get the knowledge, we've got the knowledge, and we could charge you for the knowledge. Then, they just don't grasp the concept that if you spend time developing something and then somebody comes along and takes it from you and then sells it without spending time developing it themselves, that they're stealing. And so that they just don't get that. So in this way, Huawei says, hey, we didn't steal anything, because we each have different definitions of stealing. So long story short, we're not going to be buying any Huawei gear for any of the infrastructure or networks in the United States. However, countries like Germany have agreed to do this, to buy from Huawei for non-critical areas of their wireless networks, because it's just a lot cheaper. It's so much cheaper to get the 5G to your people using Huawei gear. The problem is there could very well be, and there have been reported in the past and sealed, backdoors in Huawei gear that would allow the Chinese government to spy. Now, with that said, there have also been reports of backdoors in Cisco gear that allow the U.S. government to spy. So, you 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. There's going to be backdoors in anything that anybody makes. The question is, who do you want controlling the backdoors? Do you want a company that has at least some degree of accountability, or do you want a communist authoritarian country that is already imprisoning millions of people in concentration camps in their country, controlling the backdoors? I'm talking about the Uyghur population in China. That's basically what the question is. So in the United States, they're saying we don't want the spying here, but it's a little concerning because we get a lot of our intel from our Five Eyes groups, Five Eyes members, like Germany, for example. And if we're sharing U.S. intelligence with German intelligence, and Germany has the 5G network from Huawei, are we not then sharing our intelligence with China? So you can see how it gets pretty complicated pretty quickly. 866-496-8772. We got to take a quick break on the show. When we come back, Sprint has a 5G hub for your home that we can pop in there. Google's blowing up some Nest, works with Nest things, and people are getting upset about that. And fraudulent apps are increasing 159% year over year on your smartphone. The main reason that we are launching Endpoint for Android and iOS next month, coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the specials section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All righty, guys, welcome into Compute This. Final segment. We're going to make it quick here. Susie, you're next up on the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hi, Shrock. We listen to your program every Sunday morning.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But I have a question for you, and you may have already answered it. I hadn't heard the answer before. But the other evening, I turned on my computer, and I just went to get my email, and all of a sudden this shrill sound came out of my computer, and it said, "Do not shut your computer off." Excuse me. "Do not shut your computer off. Call this number immediately."
Oh, boy, did you call it?
Yeah,
Okay, did you let him in?
I did.
Okay, that's all right. You don't have to sound so dejected about it. We can make it better.
Well, I am pretty, I feel really stupid because I hear you say all the time, "Do not let anybody in your computer." So I asked them, I said, "Are you Microsoft?" And they said, "Yes."
Oh, yeah. We are on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Did you pay him any money?
I paid, it started out at $500. I got them down to $149. But the next day I went in and I changed all my passwords.
Gotcha. Did
that do any good?
Well, how did you pay them? With a check?
PayPal.
Okay, PayPal.
They wanted to go through the bank, and I said no. They wanted a credit card, and I said no. I can't do that because I don't have a credit card, but I will use PayPal.
Gotcha.
So they used PayPal. I don't know if that helped or not.
No, it did actually, because that was my next question. A lot of people will do an ACH wire transfer from their bank account or a credit card, and then the bad guys
That's what they wanted.
They have that info then, and they'll hit your card again. They'll just charge you again, and they'll charge really small amounts of money, like $3 or $5, and hope you don't see it. And they'll do that month after month after month for years until you notice, basically. So basically the fun thing there is you did good with PayPal. The other thing is you can dispute PayPal. So go back and go to PayPal and open up a dispute on that transaction as a fraudulent transaction. And then in that dispute, type in there that this was a tech support scam website. That's what they're called. And basically everybody knows what that is. And then within a luck, you'll be able to get that money back, actually. So that's a win.
Now they put some fancy software on the computer, different things like to call this number, and they have actually listed their numbers, which I called the next day and asked them if they were Microsoft, and they said, "No, this isn't Microsoft, but we do Microsoft repair."
Exactly. Yeah, we're Microsoft authorized. Yeah, so for all intents and purposes, we are Microsoft. Yeah, I'm Google authorized, so for all intents and purposes, I'm Google. I mean, come on. So yeah, so basically here's what's going on. The first thing is they did install software on your computer. The software that's installed on your computer most of the time is benign and annoying. So they added their phone number to your right-click context menu. You probably haven't seen that yet. If you right-click your mouse, their phone number will be in that menu. If you'll notice it's on the desktop. Sometimes they also install third-party software that allows them to reconnect to your computer. Now that they have established that you are a mark, they will contact you again with other products and services in the future. And so for your convenience, they can automatically remote into your computer to assist you with deploying these solutions. So we call that, what that's called in the industry is a remote access Trojan, a RAT, an RAT. If you had antivirus software before, they probably removed it. Did you have our endpoint software installed?
No, I did not.
Okay, and then that's okay.
The computer came with. Pardon?
I said that's okay if you didn't have it. If you did, there's a warranty, and so then this is all free if you had our endpoint. Yeah. What did it come installed with? Probably McAfee.
The computer or these guys?
No, the computer, the antivirus that it had when it came. It's probably McAfee, Micro, or Secure
I think it was malware, which I've used for years.
Yeah, the Malwarebytes.
And haven't had any trouble with it.
Yeah, and this is exactly the difference. People ask me, I had a corporate client ask me the other day, what's the difference between Symantec Endpoint and like Kaspersky or Malwarebytes or any of these other ones that are out there? And the biggest difference is if you would have been running Symantec Endpoint, that website that popped up that made the shrill sound, it wouldn't have happened to you. The semantic endpoint would have blocked that, especially after the update that was just released this last week. And now the problem is we're getting this on phones too. Phones are popping up. Thank you very much for the call, Susie. We do have you in the drawing here as well. Phones are popping up with ads now saying, oh gosh, your phone is infected. Call this number or tap here to call the number, and then they miraculously can clean your phone for you. It's the same scam, and as we said earlier, it's up 159% year over year. So in this story here, mobile ad spending, which is estimated at $87 billion, will account for more than 2/3 of all digital ad spending in the U.S. So basically, it's growing incredibly huge. The huge growth was primarily driven by large investments in mobile app ads, which are expected to generate a whopping $201 billion. These are advertisements that pop up on your phone because you have an app installed. The app delivers the advertisement. So basically, there's two ways you can look at this. When you have an app and it has a little ad in the bottom, like Candy Crush, and you have a little ad on the bottom, okay, that's ad-supported software. If you want to pay for it, get rid of the ad, great. On the other hand, you have more nefarious programs that are launching full-screen ads you can't close outside of the app when the app is not running. Those are malvertisements, basically, that are infecting your phone. And that's the reason why that starting in about 2 weeks here, we're going to begin offering semantic endpoint on Android devices and iOS devices to keep them safe from this kind of stuff as well. Thank you very much for the call, Susie. Let's jump on to Steve's call. Steve, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Yes, good morning, Thor. Great to talk to you again.
Thank you.
No way can I compete with Susie there. But we needed a surge protector here for my wife, Lynn. She got a new mattress for a hospital bed. And I think this is off the air question now, in the sense that I don't know if we missed your special by a week or so. I don't know. We'll have to look at the date, but we've done quite a bit of business with you. But we had to pay full price for that surge protector.
Gotcha. Well, they went on sale at the start of the month here. They went on sale in May. So if you bought it in May and you were charged full price, you shouldn't have been. Just let us know. We're happy to get you compensated for that. All right, Mark. I don't have time to take your call on the air, but based on the description here, should I disconnect my backup drive for the big Windows update? The answer is yes, you will have to. Wait till you hear from us to install the update, then disconnect your backup drive when you try to run it. Leave your backup drives hooked up, guys, this week. Don't disconnect your backups. We don't want to see you in the data. I love you, but I don't want to see you in my data recovery lab, okay? All right, today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Conveniently is Susie, so good job, Susie. You can bring that in. $25 off us taking a look at it. Stay tuned for the Aftershock. Lots more coming up next. We'll see you again next Sunday.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB, look at KFAB.com on your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of